I didn't want to go to heaven anyway.
Welcome to the Big Different Podcast. Today I got my guest Jake Decker with me. Jake, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man.
So, for the people who don't know you, can you please tell us who you are?
Yeah, so my name is Jake Decker. I am from Halstead, Pennsylvania. I'm 21 years old. I like to do a lot of hunting, fishing, do a bunch of different stuff, golf, do anything. So I'm a big country boy. So that's basically what I grew up doing. My father would always take me out fishing, go hunting, all that stuff. So, yeah, a little bit about myself.
So you go to college. Where do you go to college at, man?
So actually, out of high school, I started my career at Northampton Community College in Bethlehem, PA. For 2 years, I was at community college. And now I'm at IUP, Indiana University of Pennsylvania. So that's that. I think IUP was a little better fit for me. I probably should have done that at the start, but it is what it is. Northampton was it was a good time. I met a lot of good people. IUP, same thing. So, but yeah.
What exactly do you study? What do you go to college for?
So I go to college for environmental engineering. I didn't get my associate's degree from Northampton because I was behind on my credits. But so environmental engineering has to deal with how human interaction comes into play with environmental interaction. So what we have to do is we have to kind of have the environment and people coexist and kind of help out different aspects of the environment. So for example, if I was a coastal management person, there's a lot of civil engineering, environmental engineering, people that have to figure out ideas and ways to solve some issues that happen, say oil spills. So that's basically what I'm going for. And there's a lot of calculus, a lot of physics that goes into play with that too. So it's been it's kind of been hard because it's an engineering degree. There's a lot of math, a lot of physics, like I said. Gotcha. So yeah.
So what exactly kind of job could that bring you into for the people who wouldn't know? You said it would be dealing with physics and engineering degree essentially. So where exactly can that take you?
It can take you on a couple different paths. I didn't really look into what specific jobs there are, but I know that there are a ton of different jobs to where you can, let's see, I know a guy that he's a civil engineer that deals with the railroads. How that, let's see. So like I said, and also in the coast, there's a lot of environmental engineering people that come into play. Say if there's oil spills or you have to deal with different parts of the wildlife that are affected by stuff. There was a couple earthquakes. There was one big earthquake in Haiti that brought a lot of trouble to people. So our job is to fix what that has done, come up with ideas, and coincide with civil engineer, environmental engineers, physicists, mathematicians, and how to fix them issues.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. I mean, environmental, it's dealing with the environment. So
yeah.
So also for the people who don't know, Jake plays baseball. Jake played baseball out of Northampton, and now is playing at IUP. I would take a guess at.
Yep. So
tell us a little about that, how the recruiting process and everything like that went down for you.
Yeah, so I got a call from one of my good buddies, Derek Stento. He said, "Hey, Coach Yaguas wanted to see who you were and take a tour at Northampton." So I went down there. He gave me the lowdown, and lo and behold, it was a couple months after high school, I was committed to Northampton Community College. For the 2 years that I was there, I didn't get to play much because my first year, I got hurt. I hurt my back, and I had a herniated disc, L1S5, or no, S1L5 in my lower back, and that I didn't play a whole year, which was a really hard time for me because it was so bad that I was bedridden for a week. But And so
Crazy.
I was debating on whether to play or not play, you know, but I found it within myself just to, you know, eat right, work out every single day, keep myself healthy. And the second year that I was there, I was able to play. You know, I didn't get to play as much, but it is what it is. But then I think it was the spring season of 2019 that I got a call from Anthony Rubensky at IUP. He says, you want to take a tour at IUP and see what you think about it? I said, yeah. So we took a tour, and the campus was gorgeous. And he took me on the tour, took me to tour the dorms, took me on a tour to like different places, like where I'm going to be studying and all that. So I thought it was a good idea. So I committed there. And once I got there, it was kind of, it was really different than Northampton. Between meeting the guys at IUP was a lot different than meeting the guys at Northampton. Just a little bit of a culture change there, but wasn't a big deal. I mean, 2 weeks I was already, you know, in with the guys, you know, hanging out with them. In the fall, we had an inter squad that we had an inter squad. And the first time I threw, I don't think one person hit off me that whole fall. And so I kind of made a little bit of a name for myself. And then after that came into the winter, and we started preparing for the regular season. And then, you know, we were all getting strong. We were all getting healthy. We all were doing good. And then we went for break. And then a couple of guys came back, and a couple of them really didn't really work as much as others. You can kind of see. Yeah. But coming into the spring season at IUP, our first game wasn't the best game that we played. We went down to North Carolina, and we played Lenore Ryan, and I think we played 3 games. I think we lost all 3. But come spring, we didn't win a game yet, and we had a tournament again at North Carolina, and I think it was the second game we finally pulled out our first win, and then the next game we pulled out another win, and then our third and final game we pulled out a third win. So we're like, oh, Hawks are hot, you know. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. And one of the best memories of IUP, as short as it was, we were all on the bus on the ride home from North Carolina, and we started just singing songs with each other. I mean, we were just like, everyone was standing up. We were all singing songs. And I mean, coach came up to us after that, and he's like, guys, after over how many years of being here and coaching, he's never seen as close group as we were, you know.
Yeah, but it really
sucks. Yeah, it really sucks that we didn't get to finish the season, because we could have really done something. So
what position do you play?
I'm a pitcher.
You're
only.
A pitcher?
Yeah.
Strictly pitcher?
Strictly pitcher now.
So you said that going into IUP was a whole different like cultural change.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that? Because I know Northampton is it has a lot of Spanish. It's predominantly a Spanish team,
mm-hmm.
and they grow on to something special, because Northampton has always been a very good junior college program. Especially they made names for themselves down in that level. So what do you mean by the cultural change happened? Because I'm not really that familiar with IUP as
mm-hmm.
I am the other schools that are around that have been around made a name for themselves around the area.
Right. Yeah. So my first year in Northampton was between the guys, there was a lot of cliques. There was a lot of groups, you know. There was a couple of the Hispanic kids would hang out with each other, and they'd be, you know, beside themselves. And then there was another group here where these guys were so good on the baseball team, they started every game, you know. And then there was a couple of us, including myself and Derek. We would kind of go around to each group, and we'd be a part of the whole thing, you know. So we kind of had to work to build the relationships with the other guys, you know. But we found a way to make it to the national championship, which was really good, you know. But yeah. I think we could have been a more tight knit group than what we really were. Our second year, it was a little better, I will say. There was still 1 or 2 groups that that kind of separated themselves from others. But it was more it was easier to work around the guys and get to know them and, you know, spend time with them. And that year we actually did have a baseball house, which we all, you know, kind of got together and, you know, shared some stories. And there was actually a Bible study we actually did there, which is really, really cool. Apart from that, from to IUP, like everyone was like, this is the group. All 32 guys were like, you know, close. So when I got there, there was like there was the first night where you come in and you hang out with the guys and get to know everybody, and then after that, it's just you build the relationship with everyone because everyone is like right there with you, behind your back, you know. So
Yeah,
I mean, it was easier making closer friends at IUP, but I do still have friends from Northampton I still talk to, and they're still one of my best friends, you know.
Gotcha.
So I don't think I'll ever lose that relationship.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I know what you mean by like saying like how like when you go into a team and basically like your entire team turns into your family.
Yeah,
Like, and the stronger that bond is, the farther you'll go.
absolutely.
Like because I went and played at Keystone, that group, as soon as you jumped in, it was a huge cultural change for me, especially coming out of our area where there's not a very prominent of different like cultures. It's just you're all your own people,
Right.
and
yeah.
so going into it was a huge change for me. But like going into it, everyone like embraced it. Like you went in there, you were all there for one goal and one goal only, and that was to play baseball. So like that type of feeling going into it, like you can take anything. Like you said, how you wish it was better, but you guys still made it to your championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got to play at the College World Series finals. Like I got to go down there, and it was a moment I'll never forget. Like having that kind of team is just like it's a family. Like like our high school team when we played was a family. Like we didn't go that far just because everyone was just there to play baseball. We went there because we all did there because we had a job to do. So I know exactly what you're talking about that. But so going on with that, tell me a little bit about like your most favorable memory that you've ever had in baseball. I know there's gonna be a lot probably, but
right.
So try to talk about that a little bit.
Best memory, you know, like you said, there are a lot of them. I'd say the one that I remember the most was in high school, believe it or not. I mean, as kind of I don't want to be stereotypical about, you know,
no, absolutely.
But I remember the first time that I forget what year it was. It was the year that we won. It was the PIAA championship, and I was on the mound. It was against Forest City, and it was 2-1, I think. And I pitched that last inning, and I remember Nick Folk was at third base, and like I threw this soft little fastball to this big kid, and he ropes it down third baseline, and I look over to Nick, and his eyes are like bug-eyed. I'm like, oh god darn. So as soon as I see the ball, I'm like, there's no way. And then somehow Nick picks this ball, he gets it, throws it to first, and then everybody just went wild, and we all dogpiled. And after that, just getting up out of the dog pile, I'm like, wow, this really happened, you know. Even if it was like even if we were a single A team in the PIAA, it was still one of the moments that I think that keeps me coming back to the game. You know, I think there's going to be another moment where that happens, you know, in the future. I hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
It did happen again at Northampton when we went to the College World Series. Like when we beat, I think it was we beat Cumberland in a 3-game series. That was really cool. But you know, it wasn't as, you know, as big a deal to me as it was in high school, you know. So
absolutely.
But yeah, that was one of the best moments of my life for baseball.
Yeah. But that year was 2015. Just so you're aware, because that was my senior year.
my memory has been off a little bit on trying to remember things from high school, but yeah.
that was my senior year going into
That's
it,
right.
and
That's right.
that was the year that we made history for our school.
Yeah, and then we went on to win the first state
Yep.
game.
That was a very memorable season for
Yeah, it
everybody.
was.
So,
Yeah, it was.
yeah. Let's see what else. You talked a little bit about your injury with your back. I know that started off a little bit in high school.
Mhm.
So, what like talk to us a little bit about that? Like, I don't know how much you can really go
Oh, yeah,
about it, but
I can go deep into it. But I'll give you.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of it. So, in high school, there was a point where I think I was overused a little bit. You know, I was pitched a little too much, and that takes a toll on your back. I think there's a lot of twisting and torquing in your lower half to your core. So I didn't really get into like weightlifting and eating healthy until I actually got physically hurt. You know, like to the point where I can't move. So going into Northampton, I was like guns blazing. You know, I'm gonna try 110%, go out and prove myself. You know, so I went through the fall. Everything was perfect. You know, we went on spring break. We went to the Cal Ripken tournament, South Carolina, and I pitched a shutout against a D2 team. And then I came back. The first game that I threw for the regular season, I couldn't throw a ball because I would twist, and there's a sharp pain that hit me in the back, and I just couldn't throw the ball. So, once that happened, I was like bedridden for a week, and it kind of hit me like, wow, is this it? Is this the end? So I was almost ready to give up on it because, you know, I told myself, you know, I did a lot. I made it to college ball, but it's like I wasn't really satisfied with what I did. So I made it like my goal to come back and throw harder than ever and be healthier than ever. So I took the initiative to be in the weight room every single day doing low back, core, strengthening myself, eating right, putting it all together. And after 3 or 4 months, I was able to come back and pitch again. You know, there was still a little hesitation on the mound when I came back because I irritated it again in the fall. And I thought, man, this can't be happening again. So again, I stuck to the weight room, stuck to eating healthy. And after that, I was good to go. And I actually am at the best physical level that I can be right now, you know? So
Gotcha. That's always good to
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
that, especially that whole build. That's definitely the best way to go about it. Eating healthy, sticking to weight regimens, like everything like that. That's the best way to go about everything, whether it be
Yeah.
sports, whether that be anything. That's what you want
Yeah.
to go
And the
with.
one thing I want to say is I actually did this squatting. The first fall at Northampton, I put 245 in the bar, you know, going for reps, and I wasn't paying attention to my form. I came down in the 6th rep, came back up, and there's a pop in my back. So that's where it all started. So I took squat out of my weightlifting regimen, and it's worked so far. So
Gotcha. So I don't really got much else for you. If there's anything you want to talk about real quick, like inspiration or anything like that, words of wisdom, now's your time.
I think there's one big point in I want to touch on like how these kids from high school can expect college ball. Actually, with like the mindset to come in with. A lot of people have told me that, oh, you know, there's so many people better than you. You better like be humble and all that stuff. Well, the thing that I learned, honestly, coming in, you can't be all this, you know, goody two shoes, be humble and try to like hide in the shadows. You got to come in and just have that bulldog mentality, you know. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like what I did, I kind of went too hard on myself. I would say I tried to do everything that I could, but I didn't have that like, you know, that chip in my shoulder, you know. And a lot of kids, they really didn't see me as like an asset to the team. So that kind of put me on the wrong edge of some of the guys. It kind of bothered me a little bit. So I was like, you know what? So they're going to be that way to me. I'm going to be that way to them. You know,
Gotcha.
Sometimes you got to feel some guys out on the team. Sometimes you got to have a couple of words with the guys, have confrontations with them. But other than that, that's really the kind of the words of wisdom I would say. Don't be afraid to come in and, do your thing. Kids in high school that have been playing ball for like their whole life, like you've done this before, there's no being afraid of what you can do. And when you're going into college, don't change your mindset,
Yeah, no,
So-
absolutely. So I want to thank you for coming out. I really appreciate telling your story a little bit about that and going in depth with some of like your injury and everything like that. But I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. Have a good one.